Continuing the good news, that's right, we're doing a White Pill Monday. I don't know what your last segment is about, to be honest, so I might be lying there.
I don't remember either.
But, oh, that's a good sign. But the first two segments for today are good news, because it turns out conservative boycotts are working. This is something I am honestly very surprised about, and it all comes off of the back of what started with Matt Walsh's campaign against Bud Light, and I will say, to begin with, I was not on board with this, not because I'm on board with anything Bud Light or any of these other companies are doing, more because I've seen over the past few years numerous boycotts come and go. They last maybe 2 weeks, everybody makes meme videos about them, and then nothing happens, is what I was expecting to happen with this. But no, the momentum has kept up, people have stuck with these boycotts, and they actually seem to be working. So, I mean, if I can take anything from this so far, it's that for once we've managed to build up enough momentum to keep these going, and you've got people who are able to organise large-scale, long-term boycotts that will actually put a dent in some of these companies' bottom lines and maybe make them consider changing things that they're doing right now. So, you know, more fool me. I put out a tweet, you know, making fun of the Bud Light boycott, say, oh, everybody's just going to go back to normal. I was wrong. I put my hands up and say I was wrong, because it does seem to be working, at least in America. And before I go into any more detail, on the website we put out so much excellent work, and we also have a search function now. Does it actually work?
Which we see a demonstration?
Demonstrate the search function for us, please, John.
We're going to have our handsome assistant.
Watch this.
There we are.
That's not our handsome assistant.
No, John's our handsome assistant.
John's our handsome assistant. Search for anything you feel like, John.
John.
We
get Alex Jones.
Yeah,
it doesn't work.
Oh, no. Listen, guys, we're still working out the kinks, all right. Hey, there you go. Snopes fact checks AOC. Just type in contemplation.
Kink is Alex Jones, huh?
No. Still working out the kinks in Alex Jones.
You could have worse kinks in the world.
Epochs. Type in...
is this the show now? Are we just
type in leftist? What
a leftist... look at this. We can search
what are leftists teaching our kids, or something like that? Because
I don't know. I kind of like what John's typing.
Okay. Hey, actually works, guys. It works, and that's just another reason to subscribe to the website now, because you can actually search for things that you might be looking for, which you couldn't before. And what you might want to search for is a recent... You don't have to look so tired. This is good news. We're good news today, Callum. We're happy today. Smile, Callum.
I'm just going to go back to Das Wright's posting in the chat.
All right, okay.
That's right.
But what you might want to search for is a recent Epochs that Bo and I did, where we were talking about the Spanish Civil War. Bo is much more knowledgeable on it than I am, but it was a pleasure to sit with him. It was the first time, I think, Bo and I have been caught on camera together. Very rare occurrence. But it was a really good chat, and I think it was elucidating, and I think there was a lot of discussion of some of the myths and realities of the Spanish Civil War. And you also might want to watch it just to hear Bo go off on one about George Orwell's homage to Catalonia.
I've just got the whole chat right in Das right now.
That's right. Okay.
That's right.
All right then. But moving on to the actual news. So I got this article, and it was just basically a useful roundup of some of the ones that's been going on, and also the Hill write up here, some of the reasons that is quite useful to know as to why, despite the customer pushback, the consumer pushback from these boycotts, a lot of the companies might still go ahead. For one, it's Pride Month soon. It's Pride Month, is it June? Sorry, I forgot to say my Hail Marys.
To the holy gay.
Yes, to the holy gay.
Yes, the big gay in the sky.
I need to go and pray at the stone wall. And say my prayers, eat my
just
vitamins.
Don't bend over while you pray. That's how they got me.
That's right. Callum's gay now. That's how
it's the Tucker Carlson thing. It's like, what is going on?
Why am I gay? Sorry, we were watching something before the podcast. But it's Pride Month coming up soon. It's difficult, honestly, to keep track in England, because I went on a list earlier of all of the Pride calendar for England, and it's, other than the cold months, shockingly enough, other than the cold months, there's every single month has so much ridiculous stuff on. I don't even think there is a dedicated Pride Month in England now. It's just Pride Year. All year round, you are to pledge your fealty to the holy butt sex. This is what we worship now. What?
I want to see that poster campaign.
You ever watch Community?
No.
Well, in the first series, they get the school flag changed into just an asterisk that looks like a butthole. I imagine that's what it would be.
Do you reckon we could get away with that? Just with the words pride underneath.
I mean, I suppose so. It would need to be a black butthole, though, because,
Does it?
well, it would be racist.
Oh, I just
otherwise.
thought personal preference. Didn't I?
I mean, but anyway, so what they talk about here, they, like I say, they give some examples. So, as well as the Bud Light thing, and we covered some of that last Friday. You did, I think, with Connor. You covered some of the stuff that went on with Bud Light. They're absolutely, in the toilet right now. They're not making anywhere near as much money as they could be if they hadn't just decided to go full troon. And Miller Lite was also caught on the backlash of this because everybody realized that back in, I think it was March, they did for Women's Month, they did an advertising campaign where they said, oh, isn't it terrible that we used to advertise a beer for men using bikini women?
Yeah, there's one thing that men hate: women. They can't stand looking at women.
Attractive women in bikinis.
Worse.
No, thank you.
You know what guys like? Gay sex, said Miller Lite.
Every single time.
I mean, it's kind of funny, but
Well,
the extreme
Bud
joke
Light.
that you'd make about any company is now actually their official position, which is like, what heterosexual Americans like gay sex.
What's the state religion? What's the state religion?
I know, right? But
The state religion is black trannies having gay sex.
of course.
That's what it is. That's just what. That's just
Do you
what
not
we
enjoy
worship.
that? That's the first thing I think of when I think
I
of Burger
consider
King.
myself a conscientious objector to
People are going to be putting white feathers on you, being like, he doesn't like gay sex. He's
Oh no!
what a weirdo.
What a bigot I am. There was also something else you covered on Friday. Target, they had their Pride line of merchandise, their tuck-friendly swimwear for children. Absolutely disgusting. And now the company is being slammed, according to this article. I love that terminology, slammed. And they are down $9 billion in the stock market. It's difficult to tell whether actual consumer choices affect the stock market sometimes. But if it's going down, whatever, I'm happy with it.
Well, I mean, like, if their sales are going down,
The sales are the main...
then the stock is going to be worth less. So you should sell.
The sales are the most important part. Well, stock seems to be easily manipulated by Wall Street. And,
Yeah, they can do that as well.
And speculation, and all that kind of investment. But sales is the main thing. And this article actually is quite useful because it explains some things. They say, as private companies, they have every right to take these stances. Typical free market talking points. Likewise, customers have every right to express their disagreement by seeking alternative products. The only other interested parties are the shareholders who are faced with lower share values and higher losses. But then it explains some more details there. Like, for instance, in the past, it seems that shareholders probably pushed along by activists groups and activist lawyers, shall we say, demanded in the past accounting from these companies. Indeed, diversity, equity, and inclusion advocates have often sued companies for failing to be more aggressive in reaching diversity goals. So you can get your classic activist investors saying, "Sorry, you're not diverse enough for us. What? Don't you want us to make money? No, we want you to be more diverse."
If you don't start making adverts that straight Americans like gay sex, we'll sue you.
And it
That
works.
is the most American sentence I've ever heard.
It really is. It works as well, sadly. There's companies like Facebook, Oracle, Danaher, Qualcomm, Gap, Norton LifeLock. Some of those I've never heard of in the past, but apparently they had big lawsuits against them because they weren't gay enough. Excuse me, they were sued over the failure to reach greater goals of diversity. It carries on and says, it's not clear how the losses of the recent companies that have been boycotted will impact social messaging through branding, but shareholders do sadly have little influence. That these executives are rational actors, blah, blah. While these campaigns may alienate consumers and even reduce profits, they offer personal and professional benefits for senior employees who make DEI policies a priority. Campaigns are the bona fides for executives in seeking opportunities and greater status. While Heine Scheld, whatever her name was, the person from the Bud Light who said, we need to get away from the trashy old school image and basically insulted the entire consumer base. She was put on leave during the meltdown. These campaigns are a net gain for most executives. More importantly, speaking out against such campaigns out of concern for the brand is a high-risk move for any executive who does not want to be labelled insensitive or unenlightened. So, while for the actual day-to-day work of the brand, the people at the top will just jump from brand to brand anyway. The CEO is a job.
I have thought of a very devious plan, though.
Oh, okay. All right, go on.
I've come up with a cunning plan. Right, so you
Excellent,
remember
Baldrick.
we like the stock, so we buy the stock. Stock goes to moon.
All right.
Everyone takes notice, right? I have a new idea. Right, okay. What if we buy stock in every Fortune 500 company, because the biggest ones are going to be where it's most effective. Just buy, I don't know, like $100 and everything, right?
All right.
It may take some time to make the money.
All right, okay.
But buy on everything. And then as soon as they do something we don't like, we sell the stock because we don't like the stock. Because I'm thinking, obviously, one guy is not going to have much of an effect. But if Wall Street bets actually do that, they could control the entire culture just by selling and buying the stock when they want.
It could, but I could imagine if a situation like that happened, when they started to sell, it would probably be like BlackRock and other companies decide to buy up more
I don't know, man,
stock,
because if you
so
just
that
completely
you can't make a
crash the
difference.
stock, maybe I'm wrong.
And GameStop wasn't really important to have massive, big investment hedge funds invested in it.
Well, they were betting against it, so
Yeah, exactly. They were betting against it.
maybe I'm a retard.
So, no. It's a good idea, but I just think that the decks are stacked against us. But we shouldn't lose hope, because I had lost hope, and this proved me wrong. So, if we carry on, other places decided, they saw the Bud Light marketing campaign and thought, yep, this is a good idea, losing money. Sounds like just what we want this summer. So you had gunmaker Heckler and Koch following Miller Lite's lead in the next one. Koch. Is that how you pronounce it? Koch.
Yeah.
They're Koch guns.
Not a rude word, I'm just saying the name of the German company.
The Koch guns decided to become more gay and decided that sexy women in bikinis holding guns was not appealing to their target demographic of
you may have an argument.
straight men.
If you have named yourself after Koch, then he was a pretty gay guy.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't think he named himself that. It might have just been, a name that was given to him.
The whole family was gay, actually. It was
It's impressive they managed to procreate at all. So some guy on Twitter, if you scroll down in this article, you can see the tweet. Somebody was like, "Oh, can you believe that this happened?" And this is actually going back against some prior advertising campaigns. So the Miller Lite one, I almost call it the Miller and Carter. That's the Dino in me coming out. Miller Lite, their campaign was from March because it was for Women's Month, and it ended in April 2023. But you're going to do that every time I mention some
every
kind
time
of
there's a holy
month.
day, yes.
Black History Month. So this is actually retroactive because what you're doing is you're noticing, hey, this company already told me that they hate me. So in the future, I won't buy anything. But he tweeted about this and he said, can you believe that they did this? And then Heckler and Koch came out and said, yes, we can. I can't believe that they would do something as disgusting as use attractive women in an advertising campaign. We used to do that, but we say no more.
There's a really funny marketing campaign there, though. If you wanted to do that, you could turn around and be like, real men like cock, and then sell your products. But instead, they didn't. They went with being cringe.
If you have a sense of humour,
Yeah.
it actually helps. What's John bringing up here? So,
that's actually a really good idea for Pride Month.
oh yeah, they apologised for it, but still, you still need to hold these companies accountable because they only apologised for it because of the massive boycott. But once again, the fact that they are apologising for it, whereas before they didn't, is a sign that things are changing. At least that there's enough momentum going with the movement.
Chat's pointing out that they were this close to being Heckler and Cuckold.
Maybe,
So
yeah, because they said, "Oh, I can't believe that we sold nice guns," and now they're trying to meme about it. Yeah, fair play.
I forgive them.
There
There is a path to redemption.
I mean, if you send me free guns, I'll consider it. Good deal? Good deal.
Bit illegal, but
Bit illegal, but it's a joke. Come on.
okay.
Adidas decided as well that they wanted to be evil and put forward marketing campaigns where they decide. No, in the next one, please, John. Where here's a man wearing a swimsuit.
Right. The main group of human beings on Earth who wear Adidas is Slavs.
And if you don't know anything about Eastern Europe, you should know one thing.
They've got brains. They're not brain dead like most
Well,
of
it's
them.
not even that. It's that they're not a big fan of rainbows.
Well, also they just don't really think men can become women. It's weird, isn't it?
This is all the fault of fascist Putin.
All we need to tell, it's not even just Putin, is it? The whole Slavic world is wearing Adidas. I once got on a plane to Slovakia, and the guy was wearing a golden Adidas tracksuit. I was just looking at it, he's like 47 or something. I was just thinking, are you serious? But no, that's real. That's normal.
I'm sorry, I just want to see... I want to see Putin in full Adidas.
Yeah, probably is a Photoshop, I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah. Him on that horse. You know that one of him
Adidas
topless
too.
on the horse with that, except it's Adidas.
Oh, there's some real ones of him wearing Adidas.
Oh, really? Oh, wonderful.
I think that one's fake, but that one's
And
real.
then,
There we are.
to carry on something that was going on...
It's just in boxing.
Oh, he's boxing. That makes more sense. I just want the full tracksuit, him squatting, bottle of vodka in one hand,
They have got that, but that's
cigarette in the other.
Oh, no.
Let's follow on
You can Google it.
the Target story, though. So, Target, every Pride, from what I'm aware, we don't have Target in England. So from what I'm aware of Target, they're kind of the middle class, lower middle class place where people go to get affordable clothes and such. And they're really liberal, super lefty. And every single year they do some big Pride Month thing. This year they did this tuck-friendly clothes for children, where you can figure out for yourself what tuck-friendly means. And everybody decided, no, we've had enough of this. We've had enough of this. And like we say, they've got the $9 billion it's dropped. Target said on Tuesday.
Sorry, I just love the whole industry was like, we're going to sell gay sex to men, and all of a sudden one guy stood up and went, no, I've had enough.
That Norman Rockwell picture of the man standing up. I don't like gay sex.
And then the whole community were like, I don't either.
Yeah. I am Spartacus. The full Spartacus treatment.
The American men have found their masculinity again.
Finally.
Oh, God, if only we had it here.
So I know. In this article that's linked into this from the New York Post, they said on Tuesday it was removing some items from its stores and making other changes to its LGBTQ plus merchandise nationwide ahead of Pride Month after intense backlash from some customers who confronted workers over and tipped over displays. They said they knocked over Pride displays at some stores, angrily approached workers and posted threatening videos on social media from inside the store, so presumably saying, my son's not gay. Stop doing this. He's 7 years old.
Leave him alone. Sorry, just work here.
And Target's just like, fine, we'll stop, okay? And then, so I just wanted to mention something very briefly, and I'm not going to go into too much detail on this because it might be something that Connor and I talk about in the future, but not to call him out, but James Lindsay recently has been going a little bit nuts and has basically made it very clear to everybody that, no, I'm not right-wing, I hate the right wing, you all aligned with me because you're suckers, I know best, I'm a brilliant big genius man. And he's been going up with this, essentially some weird conspiracy theory that he's made up, saying like, oh, you don't understand, if right-wingers and Christian conservatives in the first place, in particular, who he's just labelled all of them as Christian nationalists, if you start to stand up to the gay stuff now, then what's going to happen is you're going to be maneuvered into a big, violent Charlottesville 2.0 come the summer, and then the government's just going to use that, the Democrats are going to use that to destroy all right-wing movements. Basically saying, if you fall for it now, you'll end up doing something violent, yada, yada, yada. But what's actually happened? What's actually been happening? The Conservatives have been boycotting all of these peacefully, I might add. No, apart from, of course, pushing over some pride displays at stores.
I don't think I'm going to go to Charlottesville if I'm just not buying at Target. I don't think those two
No,
things
this is true, but someone's been violent. So if you go to the next article for me, please, John. So the Target did face bomb threats. Aha! Those far-right militias have finally come out and shown what they're really after. They really just want to hurt people. They want to bomb the... No. So they got an email, this WOIO in Cleveland, who are an affiliate of CBS News, warning of bomb threats. They got an email talking about it, had been placed in 5 different Target locations near the city. According to the screenshot of the email, which was published by the outlet, the threat was made in response to Target's decision to remove its LGBTQ plus Pride collection from its shelves earlier this week, with text saying, Target is full of cowards who turned their back on the LGBT community and decided to cater to the homophobic right wing. Redneck bigots who protested and vandalized their store. We won't stand idly by as the far right continues to hunt us down. So it wasn't the far right.
There was the people who list all their mental illnesses in their Twitter description.
I, for one, am shocked. I couldn't see this coming. So it was alphabet activists. So James Lindsay's prediction...
Presumably the bombs wouldn't explode and a load of glitter would come out. Confetti, no?
What, gender reveal?
Like gay bombs, just...
Gay bombs,
no?
Yes.
They're real bombs.
No, isn't that what America drops in the Middle East?
Depends who's president.
Yeah, true. And... happily, though, the Jackson Township officers evacuated, searched the store, along with some bomb-sniffing dog from the Stark County Sheriff's Office, read the release. According to a report from the repository in Canton, Ohio, no bombs were found at the location, and store operations did end up resuming. So the other 4 Target locations were supposedly Boardman, Ohio, Niles, Ohio, and Boardman, Ohio, Niles, Ohio, and Monaca, Pennsylvania. Sorry, American place names.
I just hate how they always put the state after the place.
Yeah, it made it confusing for me to read that out. So sorry, Americans, I am slightly stupid.
You're just you're a weird land. You know, that's not even the worst one. It's just when they put countries after. That's the worst one.
Oh, every time.
Paris, France.
Well, there is a Paris, Texas.
I thought, well, yeah, I mean, it could have been that one.
And
their
Eiffel Tower is pretty impressive as well.
Yeah.
No, so I assume, given the reporting that's going on here, none of these places actually had bombs. But once again, the bomb threats are coming from the Alphabet Mafia. Unsurprisingly, as Khan pointed out, these are the people who are very eager to tell you all of their mental illnesses.
I mean, they'll literally be like, I am LGBT, also have anxiety disorder, also I have autism, also I have... And it's just like... Okay, I didn't even ask.
So I'll stay away from you. Thank you for the warning. Don't be near you. Good to know. Mm-hmm. And then the LA Dodgers, who I think are a football team. Once again,
real football or fake football?
Not American. American football.
American sports are in their own world.
What does that count? They decided that they were going to do a big thing for Pride Month with an organization called a drag queen troupe called. What are they called?
They play baseball.
Oh, baseball. Whatever. They play baseball. The Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, who dress up like nuns and do disgusting things like pulling Jesus Christ off the cross and pole dancing on the timbers as part of their... What have you seen?
Just people being like, no, they play rounders.
I knew it. I knew it. They play cricket, boy. Old boy. Yeah, so they do disgusting things like that. Obvious insult to Christianity. Obviously supposed to be some kind of mockery of the whole thing. And Catholics in particular have decided, no, we're not going to do this. And we've got bishops, Bishop Barron, who's a Catholic bishop, talking about how you need to boycott them. And it seems that they are boycotting them because they immediately capitulated and said, oh, we're not going to have them on. And then the leftists decided to counter-protest, and they said, oh, we are going to have them on after all. And the Catholics went, okay, we'll double down then. We don't want you to have these weird, blasphemous gay drag queen things going on as part of this. We just want to enjoy baseball, gosh darn it. And
that's the central tenet of baseball, I think.
We're playing baseball.
But I'm not American, so I don't know. But I think after the third inning or down, then the drag queen comes out of the bleachers, I think they call them.
Maybe.
It's traditional. It goes back to the 30s.
This is traditional. It's as is tradition. Amusingly enough, it turned out that...
I think that Futurama bit was like Blurball or whatever.
Oh, yeah, I remember Blurball, yeah. Do you remember Sam Brinton?
Sam Brinton, no.
The nuclear waste disposal person for the White House who was non-binary and turned out to have just stolen lots of people's luggage over the years for no particular reason. Turns out he was part of this organisation, the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence as well. He was a principal officer of the DC chapter. Fox News discovered they, after reviewing a tax filing from its founding from 2016 to 2018, his drag name was Sister Radioactive. So he was in charge of... He was principal officer. I know. It's radioactive. It's absolutely ridiculous. But at least he wasn't in charge of, luggage protection or collection or something, because maybe they had a few, nun outfits go missing over the years. But it's funny how these things always just coalesce, isn't it? All of these organizations are always just full of terrible people. And then to try and save face, the Dodgers announced that what they would be doing is a Christian Faith and Family Day. John.
Did they invite him?
I assume not. They said, don't worry, guys, we may be doing this incredibly blasphemous anti-Christian thing that is very anti-Christian on the face of it, but later on in July, we're going to have a Christian Faith and Family Day. And people aren't falling for it. People aren't falling for it. Just keep up the boycott. If you're boycotting it for religious reasons, keep up the boycott. Don't let it go. Don't let it fall behind. And then there's the last one. And I don't know if anyone's boycotting this right now, but I do notice that people are getting very annoyed about it, which is Magic: The Gathering. They've announced these cards for a long time, and it was clear what they were going to do for a long time. But they have announced this. Aragorn gave it a new name and called it Andúril, Flame of the West, with this picture of not Aragorn. Do you remember the part in Lord of the Rings where Aragorn came out as a proud black man? Do you remember?
Yeah, don't you? Do you
remember a single proud black man in the Lord of the Rings?
If you wait for the credits at the end of the last one.
Oh, okay.
There's just a deleted scene.
It's the post-credits Marvel. Yeah. Aragorn will return in The Hobbit. And they say, it's 2 days until we kick off the Beyond the Universe, blah, blah, blah. They're releasing a new set of cards for this, and as part of the cards, they've decided to race swap Aragorn. And this has caused a little bit of controversy in the fandom, because they don't want it. They don't want it. They don't want you to race swap, classic English characters. And if you go to the next one, this has been on the cards for a while, where they announced it last year that they were going to do this, and even in the preliminary drafts they already had Aragorn as a black man. I follow this one, this account, which is quite entertaining, called Shaniqua Posting Delusions. Good name for it. Just pointing out, no, this is Aragorn. So I don't know if anybody's boycotting Magic the Gathering right now, but it seems that it actually works. So if you play Magic the Gathering and you don't want to see, all of your favourite characters race swapped unnecessarily for the sake of pushing political agendas that you don't agree with, well, turns out it works, boys. You know what to do.
If you appreciated that segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content that's on the site, such as the Symposium series, this episode on debating Ayn Rand's ethics. If you'd like to find out what else is being put out, you can follow on Getter at lotuseaters_com on Getter. Thank you and goodbye.